we had a great winter. Like the weather has been really nice, but we didn't get the normal amount of snow that we would get. It was a bit low that way. But luckily we had a good team of experienced groomers that really made the difference. Like I think they really shone and brought the best out of what little we had to work with and made everything real nice.
No one complained about the snow conditions. That's the amazing part. It was just fantastic. Is that your phone?
Yeah. The main thing is making sure that all a lot of key areas, like the loading stations and stuff like that, they get worn down from repetitive use. So they got to keep those built up and maybe take snow from further up the mountain and push it down. Take it like from tree edges and other places where it's not used as much. Required a lot of extra work building our snowcross track, which is new this year. And likewise for our train park, which we've had for a while now, but I think this is probably one of our biggest and definitely one of our nicest looking train parks we've had.
Spend the night here on the mountain to make sure everything stayed safe. That doesn't happen very many places. The camaraderie between the team members for us is just really special. It's important to me, but I'm privileged to be with this team.
It's Sinead Day, the most events in any one day of the year. We've got random people in costumes, as we'll probably see going behind us. We've got our downhill dummy, which is a good exciting event, where people build some kind of contraption of sorts, usually with some sort of a mannequin on it, and we let that go ripping down the mountain. We've got pie eating contests and face painting, and of course the big grand finale is the slush cup, which I'm hoping I don't get real cold in soon. We've had a really busy year. I think more events than ever before and with greater attendance than ever before. Our first big one was Polar Express, which is our Christmas week-long festivity with the big snow train and kids camp for the young guys and girls, and just followed through with an event almost every weekend all season long. We've had the Torchlight Parade. We had our Moonlight Dinners started in January and followed through with our Lord of the Boards that we have every year and Hawk Air Family Fun Day. And that took us into, I think, Spirit of the Mountains.
Spirit of the Mountains is something that the whole community does. It's a week-long celebration, and so we participate in that. But the neatest part is the torchlight. And this year, because we're 100 years young, we had 50 people going down with torches on both sides, so that equals 100. And we had the torchlight parade, and I believe that we had CFTK and Sarah, you with us during that period of time, and that was just like super, super exciting. After that, we have things like Ladies' Day and the rail jam that happens. The BC Provincial High School races were here. That was a huge one for us. So all the high schools all over British Columbia come here and compete. And that doesn't happen too often. Matter of fact, today, on Sinead Day, the last day of the season, we have the BC Northern Tech races as well that occur. So there's something all the time happening. Our biggest one maybe was the Extreme Everest Challenge. We used to have something called the Everest Challenge, and then we took it up a couple notches, and this year we doubled the attendance from last year. We suspect that this will just continue to grow, and all of those funds go to the Rick Hansen Foundation. It's a really great thing because it kind of ties in with the adaptive skiing and people that might need additional assistance. The last thing would be our Special Olympics, and it's been 10 years since they've been on the hill. So this is the first time in 10 years they've come back, and it's the only Special Olympians that are in the north happening on Hudson Bay Mountain. So we're really excited about that one.
Bodybuilding is not so much a team sport, but you're working towards that one day you're competing, right? So you might be training for an event for say 18 weeks for that one day, and it's sure you might have a trainer or a coach that's mentoring you, but he's not there 24/7, 7 days a week. You have to have that inner heart and just the ability to be hungry every day, right? Because there's going to be days where you don't feel like pushing yourself, right? And there's going to be other days where you feel fantastic, and you're going to have to find that kind of equilibrium, right, where you're motivated and making progress. Right now I'm training for the BC Bodybuilding Provincials. That's my latest contest. This will be my 4th time competing. And basically Provincials, I won the overall at an amateur show. So I have a lifetime qualification to compete at the Provincials. Basically these events, they're not just bodybuilding, like there's fitness, figure, bikini, and bodybuilding. And then there is the physiques, the men's and women's physique too, which is more of a toned down version of bodybuilding. So and it isn't so much a male dominant sport. Like I'd say there's probably, a 70-40, probably 70% females, 40% males. Because you get a lot of the fitness competitors and just, whether it's their first time stepping on stage and they've used it as a motivating thing to train for something, because we all work better when we have a deadline, right? If we have to do something and we know there's a day that we can't change, we're always going to work harder towards that day.
It was an old injury that actually got me into the gym when I was about 14, and I started training more and I started enjoying it, and I started slowly building muscle and things, and I started getting an interest in bodybuilding. And then when I moved here in 2011, I started training with Ash, and he got me to be more interested and be more dedicated, and he's actually sparked my interest a little bit more in bodybuilding.
Definitely interesting. I mean, like he says, it's a 4-month commitment, right? That's all you're basically focused on, right? You've got to worry about everything, you're eating, you're training, you got to get enough sleep, right? It's your lifestyle that you're going to live. But like you said, at the competitions, there's a lot of females there. It's nice to see that there's such a huge interest in it, right? It's not just a few people here and there. I think there's 300 or 400 competitors at a competition. They've actually broke up one of the competitions into 2 different days because it's gotten so big, so much more interest in it.
It's a bit nerve-wracking. You see everyone. You see girls, you see guys, you see the heavyweights and the lightweights, and you see guys in their peak physical condition, girls that are looking phenomenal. It was intimidating, but I felt assured and self-confident at the same time. I got there, I put in the training, and I knew I was ready for the competition.
The biggest thing I think people struggle with is, you can't go from eating Subway and Tim Hortons every day to doing a diet like this, right? That's very hard on the body, and it's hard on the metabolism too, right? We want to go from, sure, we're going to eat a little bit more food some days and less food other days, but, again, keeping it very unprocessed, right? And just understanding what you're putting in your body, and because 18 weeks is a long time, right? As you get to the halfway mark, and you still have another 9 weeks to go, it is challenging sometimes, right? So you have to, remember why you got into it in the first place on day 1, and remember on, say, day 80, why you're going to finish off, and not give in to the temptation to, okay, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, right?
I tell them to do it, but they need to be dedicated. They need to be able to give 4 months of dedication and hard work and training, and completely dedicate themselves to it. Be prepared to spend money on food and wake up really early, but it's not impossible. I can do it, everyone can do it. There's a possibility for everyone.
They're looking for everything, your whole how your body looks, right? The shape of your body. Everything from your hair, how it's presented, your nails, everything, your walk, your stamina, everything, right? It's not just who has the biggest muscles and things like that. It's more the whole look they're going for.
Since it is a very subjective sport, right? There's not a there's not who crosses the finish line first, but the biggest thing that I see people that are very successful in that area is just doing it for yourself, right? If you're doing it to impress your friends, you're gonna fail, right? If you're doing it to, you know, impress anybody else besides yourself, you know, you're always gonna, you know, have issues, right? You know, it's gonna get to that point where, why am I doing this, right? You have to ask yourself that all the time, and you know, do it because you want to do it, and just to, you know, see improvements from show to show, right?
I had my days where it took me a little bit, where Ashley had to, you know, walk me through, tell me to keep going, just keep my head up and stay motivated. But from the beginning, I knew I was going to finish it, and there was no quitting it for me. I needed, something drastic needed to happen for me to stop, and I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Please help me in congratulating from UVic Bikes, number 23, Hudson.
I'm from Terrace. I was born here, grew up here, played soccer and all other sports. You know, my family still actually lives here, so that's why I usually come back about twice a year just to visit. You know, see the rest of my family here, and obviously my little cousin even plays for this team that I'm coaching right now. So yeah, I just come back. You know, it's nice to get back and get to Christie Park and see where I kind of grew up playing. You know, it's always nice to see the kids and how they're developing and kind of compare them to how it was when I was here. So yeah, it's nice to come back every now and then. I moved to Surrey, and immediately after I moved, I was looking to get with a club, and that's kind of the hardest part when you move is, you know, can I fit in? You don't really know anyone. So yeah, I was lucky enough I was able to go to a pitch and ask a coach if I could play, and thankfully he let me play. His name was Spiro Peggios for Surrey United, and I played there for 2 years, and that went really well. We actually ended up winning a provincial championship and a national championship at the under 16 level. So yeah, I was very fortunate to play for that team, and then during high school I got recruited by a number of universities, and I picked the University of Victoria, and last year we had a really successful year. We won a national championship, and you know, won some personal awards. So yeah, it was a really good year for me last year. In the summer I played for the Vancouver Whitecaps and had a successful season with them. I like to represent Terrace as much as I can. You know, it just goes to show that it doesn't really matter where you live or what environment that you're playing in. You know, you can always play at the highest level as long as you have the confidence, the determination, and obviously a little bit of luck to go with that. You know, it's awesome. You know, even when I tell everyone down south where I'm from, they're kind of surprised. Oh, you know, you're kind of the only one to really make it out, and you know, so I take great pride in that. It's awesome. I'm here for about 6 days, so every day I'm here I run a session for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you know, basically try to introduce these guys to something that we would do kind of at a higher level down in the mainland. A lot of these drills that I'm working on here is stuff that we do back with the University of Victoria and the Whitecaps, obviously modified to fit their level. It's a little bit different, but for the main part, focusing on the same aspects, you know, in terms of shape, you know, teamwork, communication, all those little things that, you know, become important once you play at the higher level.
Oh, we're just doing like a soccer camp with Cam. He's my cousin from Victoria.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to, you know, be working with him, for him to come down and teach us some skills. Yeah, it's really...
Well, we're just learning basic ball skills and techniques to make the team better. We're learning how to work together as a team and how to take leadership so that the entire team just, like I said, works together and better outcome in our games to come.
And it's definitely something that he was started here in Terrace, and now he's off in Vancouver playing for the Whitecaps, so it's definitely something to, you know, look forward to, work to. Yeah.
Some of it's new. The basic things like passing we have learned before, but he's helping us improve. And then there's other skills such as half volleys where the ball bounces and kick it out of the air. And it's just ball control skills. Some of those are new. You
know, I love to coach. I love to come back, see these kids, and obviously I learn a lot because you get to see it from a coaching perspective instead of being a player. So yeah, it's awesome. I think it benefits both the players and myself, and obviously, you you know, it's just a great environment for everyone. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, at this age, you don't really know. It could be anyone, you know. At this age, it comes down more to attitude, being coachable, you know, those kind of things, determination, confidence. It's those kind of things, you know. Coming from you know, 14 years old, it's when I moved, and there's so much room for development. You know, you never know how a kid's gonna progress through his career, you know, what's on his mind, what's his priority. So yeah, I mean, all these kids potentially can become players at the higher level, right? So it's hard to say, but if they stick to it, I mean, you never know, any of them can do it.
I think the entire team really appreciates Cam coming down and helping us, and it's an inspiration.
Dynamics.